Hey besties, welcome back to My Emotional Support Besties. I'm here with my emotional support bestie, Tori.
And I'm here with my emotional support bestie, Reed. Here we are. Already episode 6.
Can you believe that we are on episode 6? Because
No.
I can't. That means it's been 6 weeks.
I'm having one of those weird feelings where it's like this only has to be like the second episode, but at the same time I feel like we've already done like 18.
Ooh, okay.
Because it just feels normal.
I agree. I sometimes feel that with our friendship where I'm like, oh,
Yes.
we've been friends for 10 years. And then I'm like, oh, wait, it's
We're
almost
old.
25
I know.
years.
I know.
That's wild.
When I started being able to refer to things in high school, which feels sometimes like yesterday, but also eons ago, is like, oh yeah, it's like 15 years ago. And then I'd be like, Jesus.
Or when I tell two 21-year-olds that I'm 31 and they go,
Yeah.
and you're like, oh, they think that I'm old.
Well, it's that weird thing where I'm like, okay, we're in our 30s. Doesn't feel old to me because like we're in it. I don't feel old. I don't see anyone in our lives as old. And then I take a step back though, and then when I do things like that where I'm like, oh yeah, 15 years ago when we were 15,
I'm like,
and then I go, what?
Oh my God.
Excuse me?
how have I been alive for that long?
Truly.
But I do think that 30 is like the new 21.
Yeah.
I think
I agree.
it's so wild, like having friends in our 40s, their 50s, stuff like that. I don't see those ages as old anymore.
No.
At all.
No.
And it's such a different concept than like when you're in your 20s, you feel like everybody older than 26 is old.
Yeah.
And then you actually hit 26 plus and you're
Yep.
like,
Yep.
oh. Also, I feel like from ages 26 to 29, I felt way older than 30 through 31 so far. Like there's
Yep.
something about being in your late 20s where you almost feel geriatric. You're like a geriatric 20-year-old.
Yes.
And then you enter 30 and you're like rejuvenated
we're
and
a
young.
baby 30.
We're babies.
I completely agree. I was laughing because I was at a concert last night and she saw somebody had a "It's my birthday" sign. And she was like, oh, how old are you turning today? And she was like 24 and she goes, oh, bless girl. And then just walks away. And the way that I felt that,
Yeah.
because I was like, that's a rough.
Oh my God.
23 and 24 were really rough years. And I was
So
like, I'm
hard.
glad to know not alone in that feeling.
Well, they don't tell you that you go through like a second puberty as a woman
Yes.
at like 23 and 24.
Yep.
I just remember 23 and 24 were some of the most life-changing years where things really
Yes.
things
Grew
really
up quick.
yeah, shifted and changed, made some
Yep.
new life choices
Yep.
and grew up.
Yep. And like long term out of parents' house, like we both moved out in
Yep.
those 2 years. Like I think that really launched us.
Yeah.
And it was like the prefrontal cortex was really starting to close. So by like 25, 26, I felt more stable.
Yes.
But 23 to 25, woof.
Yeah. Let me tell you, girlies out there, if you're 23, 24,
It gets better.
it's okay
So much better.
that you're feeling the way you are. That's supposed to
Yeah.
happen.
Yeah.
You're supposed to feel like you don't know anything. You don't have any
Yes.
of the answers and
Yes.
you're very confused because
Yep.
guess what? In just a few short years, your prefrontal cortex is going to close. You're
Thank
going to
God.
dump that guy.
Oh, yep.
You're going to dump
Got
that
him.
guy and your life is going to be miraculous and you're going to
Yep.
finally know yourself better, more. I feel like I'm still getting to know myself, but
My mom cracked me up because I remember, I think I was like 26 and I really did. Like, obviously it doesn't happen overnight, but like that 25th year, it just something just starts to click. I remember saying to my mom, and I was like, wow, I didn't like really clock it, but like I think the prefrontal cortex closing really was. And she goes, yeah, I didn't like you very much the last few years. She goes, you turned 25. I like you a whole hell of a lot better now.
we were wild.
And I was like, yeah, she goes, always loved you. Always had moments of like you. Now I like you a whole hell of a lot more because woof. And I was like, I don't think I liked myself very much until now.
it's hard. It's hard to like yourself during those confusing,
Yes.
challenging years. You're
Yes.
throwing spaghetti at the wall, trying to figure out who you are outside of, who you are in school, and like you're trying to figure out what are you doing to make money in life, and like
Yes.
it's all confusing. Friendships are changing. Everything changes during that time, and nobody prepares you for that.
Yep.
Like, I think it's so funny whenever I know people who are like going to college, like a 4-year college or something like that, and they're like, oh my God, I can't wait to graduate. I'm like, no, enjoy
Seriously.
it. Life is not real in college the way it is in the real world. Like, just enjoy it, have fun, and be ready. Because it's going to get tough for a bit, but then you're going to figure it out.
Well, I feel like I just was rushing to grow up for like most of my childhood. Oh, I thought of something funny we can share from our childhood.
Ooh.
I don't think we've talked about this yet. I think we maybe have mentioned it, but we used to spend a lot of hours just in our imagination.
Yeah.
Which, bless, so glad we did that. I'm so glad that we had a childhood that was that. But I used to play house a lot, which we didn't necessarily play together. But
no, because I didn't play house as much.
Yeah. I have always wanted children, and so I loved the idea of this. But I was always the working mom, and which would bleed into what we did with our time. But
I was always like either the dad or the aunt or my favorite, the cool teenage sister.
Oh,
those were always my roles when I played.
Yep. Oh, I used to put large mixing bowls under my dress to look like I was pregnant.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That's so
funny. I think she was like prepping for trad wife.
Yeah. There you go. There you go.
Something we would do is we would play like career.
Yes.
And so we would pick something that was like so cool, which I feel like early 2000s rom-coms, it always was so cool to be a magazine editor. That was the shit. Like that was like, you made it. You're the cool it girl. You're Kate Hudson. You're going to figure out how to lose a guy in 10 days.
Absolutely.
But we would take my parents' electronic typewriter and we would sit in my parents' bonus room closet. It was just a really small walk-in closet, and we would like make a desk out of like plastic drawers that were in there. And we'd like put a sign on the door saying like, editor, do not enter. And we would like take turns being the editor, like who would be like the admin assistant or like the writer or whatever. And we'd like have to like knock on the door and like, excuse me, Miss Emerson. I wanted to let you know that we're not going to meet the deadline. And then he'd be like, what? And it was so fun.
And the funny part is, I feel like those games that we would play, like there wasn't a ton of interaction during it. Like,
we were in solo journeys. We
were like somebody sitting at the typewriter, somebody writing on a piece of paper, someone else like pantomiming something in the corner, like having to deal with like the interns.
Were really doing good improv.
We were absolutely doing good improv.
And we said yes and.
So funny to think where it was like, so guys, we're gonna all hang out after school and we're gonna play magazine
and not talk
and basically not talk the whole time.
And also the fact that like that's another part of the like rushing growing up thing, that like we were basically just cosplaying work.
Big adults.
So like we went to school all day and then came home. We're like, you know what's really fun?
Let's pretend
we're working.
To be working. You know which one Nicole and I also did? We would play library.
Oh God, the Dewey Decimal System.
We talked about this before.
Yeah, we did.
We did. We'd play a library, and I like had like a little table and then something we used as a scanner, and then one person would be the one grabbing some books and then the other person would be scanning it. And there was a time I remember we were playing it during like a sleepover, and I was sitting there scanning stuff, and then like the bed was my chair and the table was right in front of me. My legs were dangling in between the bed and the table, and I just said, hey, like let's take a break from playing for a little bit. Nicole laid down on the ground. I just laid back with my legs still hanging over, and we both fell asleep.
I love that.
And my mom like came up to check on us. The lights are all on. The library is all set up, and we're just asleep there.
That's sweet.
I
that would have been a cute thing to walk in.
I know.
I wish we had iPhones then, so Denise could have snuck a picture.
I know, that'd be great.
She's like, hold that.
Like,
no one wake up. I'm gonna get the digital camera.
And it'll like flash on you girls.
I'm a flash. Flash. No, that I just there was a lot of like desire to be older, and then I think that almost causes a psychological warfare of sorts, for lack of a better term, when you get to that age, because you're like, the idea of what I had.
I just want to go play.
woof. I mean, because I fully, like, when I'd play house and, like, have kids or whatever, like, in my head, that was, like, multiple children married. It was happening at, like, 24.
Yeah.
In my head, that was all going to happen then.
Oh, my God.
And then knowing where I was at 24, I'm like, thank God it didn't. But
wait, that's hilarious to think about. Yeah. I'm still a child.
My cousins and I would play house a lot. And we would get those, like, 50-cent rings or whatever, right? And, like, put them on our ring fingers, like, pretend we were married. We're, like, 8. And our perception of, like, what a marriage was, which, like, our parents weren't saying these things around us. So when we wanted to watch TV or something and thought this was, like every time, classic, every time the setup was always just like, ugh, Jeff forgot the kids at school again and I had to leave work and pick them up. Like, we were just always mad at these, like, imaginary husbands, like, just so full of rage. Like, we thought, like, that's how we play it. That's how we play it. Like, always they were leaving the kids somewhere, which, like, I don't know anyone whose husband is just leaving their kids places, but for some reason we thought that was funny. So weird.
I feel like it's the sitcoms back then because it was like,
for sure.
King of Queens.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
that's a really good point.
That guy was terrible.
Yeah.
I feel like there was a lot of, like, dense dads back then.
Yes.
I mean, there's still
humor.
Definitely that,
yes,
like, stereotype, and
yes,
like, there are men who are like that for sure.
Yep.
But I feel like even more so back then, like, every man was Homer Simpson when we were growing up.
1,000%.
Like, can't make sense of anything.
It's just so funny. And a lot of, like, we would, like, throw the wedding ring and be like, I'm done. Like, such drama.
Wow. I wish I could watch this as a soap opera.
Same. We probably have video footage of it somewhere. We used to love filming everything we did. But that, and then playing restaurant. That was our...
I loved to play restaurant. I loved to cook in the kitchen and make up stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Like my marshmallow cookies I used to make.
Yes.
I'd just microwave a few marshmallows and then
remember our cheesecake muffins? Fab Four got this brilliant idea, which, like, cheesecake muffins are a thing, but the way we made them,
but we didn't know how to
because
make
we were like, that's a great concept. It was basically just, like, softened cream cheese, like, baked on top of it was really gross.
No, we took graham crackers and broke it up and just mixed it with water.
That's right.
And we're like,
for the crust.
For the crust. It was so bad.
So bad. But you know what? I give us brownie points.
We were trying.
We're trying it out. And I love that our parents were always supportive of that. They're like, yeah, go for it. Imagination.
Just
let
clean
it run
it up
free.
after.
Yep. That's right.
Which did I most of the time? No,
I probably didn't.
I didn't.
Oops.
Oopsie. Well, we are going to be starting off on a new segment here on My Emotional Support Besties where I'm going to ask Tori what gave you...
Whoops, sorry.
I'm going to ask Tori what gave you emotional support this week?
Oh, man. Let's see. I needed some of it this week for sure. I wrote down 3 things that brought me emotional support. One thing that brought me emotional support last night at the conference. Well, it kind of felt like a conference of women. It felt like women supporting women, which is kind of my emotional support. I went to the Kelsey Ballerini show last night, and she is a girl's girl through and through. Girl's girl. Every single woman in there was celebrating. Guess what the concert started off with?
Tell me.
Before she came out, Shania Twain, Man, I Feel Like a Woman, started. And everyone stood up. Massive dance party. Like 15,000 people. What?
No, I'm just trying. I have to burp right now.
Oh.
And I'm just trying to make sure it doesn't go into the microphone. So I apologize.
I did that last episode. I get it. So basically just started as a giant female dance party. And then, like, everything she did the entire concert was around empowerment of women. I loved to see it. It wasn't negative. It wasn't like a negative space of like, we're better than everyone. Because it easily could have become that. It just was like, we're not going to pay attention to that. We're just going to celebrate being a girl's girl. It was so cute.
I love that.
I loved it. She was a really good time. I feel like she had great engagement with the crowd, which I love to see in a performer. Sounds good. Is what we need. It's what the girls needed. You know, it's what the girls needed.
That sounds so fun.
So that was really nice. Really enjoyed that piece of a little bit of culture this week. Getting out of the house and being in a positive environment. I also was just laughing with Sammy, our friend Sammy that I went with, leaving, because we were leaving and we're like, oh, that was so uplifting. Like, I didn't even expect it to be that sweet and empowering. And then we're leaving and I'm like, I was like, what are male dominated concerts like? They're all just leaving like when they're leaving, just like football sports. Yeah, I was like, there was no way any of that. They probably even stand up. They're probably all sitting the entire time. And I was like, and there's no way they're kicking things off with a dance party. Like, how boring.
Meh. I do have a question for you.
Yeah.
What was your Uber situation like last night? Because
it was terrible.
Okay, I thought so, because I'm like Tori's emotional support Uber notification, where like when she orders an Uber or a Lyft or whatever you do, it texts me like, Tori's getting a ride. Tori left. Tori arrived. And like right as I was laying down to go to sleep, I got a text. I was like, Tori's getting an Uber. And then like a little bit later, I couldn't fall asleep. And I was like, my phone hasn't buzzed again. And so I like looked and it had been a really long time and there was no notification. And I was like, huh. And I looked at your location. You were still at the Moda Center. And then like 15 minutes after that, then I got a notification that you got a car.
Oh, it was a full disaster. I feel really bad for Sammy because she hadn't experienced that before. And I kind of warned her before we left. But I was like, maybe it won't be terrible because now they have a designated rideshare area. Apparently the Uber drivers don't understand that. Because we were not the only ones like wandering around the perimeter of Moda Center trying to find our driver. This woman next to me was so funny. She was in a dress, no rain jacket, also was downpouring.
My nightmare.
And she was like, I don't remember what her Uber driver's name was. We'll call him Mike. She was like, I'm gonna get in Mike's car, I'm gonna make sure he safely gets us home, and then I'll beat him up. She was getting so mad and it was cracking up. She's like, but we have to make sure that he safely gets us home. And then I will beat him up. Because, I mean, they just were being ridiculous. Like, two drivers canceled on us. And I was like, do you see, like, I called them. I'm like, do you see our location? Like, yeah. And I'm like, well, we're just going to stay here then because there's people everywhere. They're like, the traffic. And I'm like, uh-huh. And then they would just hang up on me and cancel the ride.
Rude.
I know. And then this man that picked us up, his name was Muhammad, and he was a very nice, he was a boy. He was younger than us. He was great. He stuck with it. He called me multiple times to be like, hey, I just wanted to update you. Like, I've made it onto this street. I'm getting closer. Like, I can see your location. If you walk up the street a little bit more, like, I can get you quicker.
Oh
so nice.
We love an over.
He safely got us home.
Person.
He made sure. Yes.
That's
so I gave him a great tip. 5 stars. Friendly driver.
We love you, Muhammad. Thanks for getting our girl home safe.
That's right. Yeah. So that was a doozy. A true adventure. And of course, getting there in an Uber is always so easy. They drop you off. Whatever. Afterwards is a nightmare.
Yeah, I refuse to Uber home from the Moda Center. That's why I'm a strictly drive there girly. Like I park in my secret hiding spots.
I know.
But it's really bad. It's really...
Also, the lots around there now are charging $60 to park.
That's wild.
Is this LA? No. Get over yourself. You think you should be charged? People were parking there, though.
Oh, they were getting their $60 from people.
So I will say Uber saved me like $25.
That's great. I park. I don't even want to say where I park. I'm going to gatekeep that because...
I know where you park, and I consider that as well, but it also was raining, so part of me was like, but now I'm like, we had to stand in the rain anyway, so who cares? Yeah, so that was annoying. But you know, we were in good spirits because we were around great celebratory women who were cracking each other up, lots of laughs in the rain. It was fine.
That sounds incredible.
But
how fun.
Yeah, so that was a great time. I have multiple other things, but do you want to tell us anything that's brought you emotional support?
Well, I think the main thing that brought me emotional support this week was sitting in the hot tub.
Ugh, always.
I felt very rain cloudish this week, both literally and like figuratively, because literally it's just been so rainy here and so overcast.
Yep.
And it really got my mood down. I was just, post vacation blues. Luteal's back.
Yep.
Annoying. And I just was, not feeling myself.
Mm-hmm.
So there were multiple days I sat in the hot tub for 2+ hours and just drowned my sorrows.
Yep.
And I loved it.
Yep.
I love being in water. I'm a water sign. And so I think I was meant to be a mermaid.
Mm-hmm.
And that really brought me a lot of joy.
I feel like hot tubs they give like spa vibes in the way of like, oh, I'm making a choice for self-care. And I think that's why it just feels purely relaxing to me anytime. So it's honestly, that should always be a go-to of like, I got a mood reset.
I got a mood reset and I just want to feel hugged in the warmth.
Mm-hmm.
It's like I'm in the womb again. I don't know.
I get that.
I really love it.
I get that.
I love being in water. It's my favorite thing. I feel, I really think that I should just be a mermaid.
Okay. You ever seen those professional mermaids?
They are so impressive.
It's wild.
I'd be so scared I'd drown.
If you've ever watched a Florida Bama Shore, is the southern version of Jersey Shore.
Oh.
There is one girl on there named Amy, and she's so sweet. She is obsessed with mermaids, and it's actually kind of cute because these people are just, they're chaos. But at one point, the other girls in the house, she's going through it. Amy's going through it. They surprise her, and they track down a professional mermaid school.
Oh.
And they take her.
She's probably so delighted.
Watching her try to do it, though. Speaking of goggles, when we were talking about, like, at what point do you just... She reached that earlier than us. She's in her early 20s. She got goggles, whatever, in there, trying to be a mermaid. She had no clue what she was doing, but she was a happy little clam.
Oh, she had fun.
Yes, but let me tell you, that episode made me laugh so hard. There was something
I didn't even
about
know
it.
this show existed. What else brought you emotional support this week?
I have gone down a rabbit hole and fixation on Chicken Shop Date. Have you watched any of her videos?
I have seen clips.
They are so fun.
Yeah.
Like, I think it's refreshing to see people just allow themselves, like, it sometimes, I think if you're not listening to it with the right understanding of her humor, maybe you'd be like, whoa. But the way that they're just feeding off of each other in this way of, like, obviously some of them have partners or whatever, they're not really on a date, but like the concept is so fun.
Yeah. Because
it's just people being flirty and like teasing each other. I don't know, it's really fun. Like, it's kind of just watching a really interesting form of improv. I think she's hilarious. She has a very dry sense of humor. British, very British.
Love British
and I just
humor.
love the concept of like they're just in this little chicken shop and she like goes to different ones.
Okay, that's what I was gonna ask. Is it the same chicken shop or
no? And she iconically she got Cher to do it.
Ooh, okay.
Which is crazy. But I was just listening to Amelia on a podcast and she was talking about how she went to Paris because Cher lives in Paris, I guess.
Oh.
I don't know if she was there full time, but she has a house there. And so she met her in Paris. She went to Paris and they went to a chicken shop in Paris. And she said that she like made some comment about like being around a lot of chicken nuggets recently or something. And Amelia was like, I think she said something like her boyfriend or something really likes chicken nuggets. But just the thought of Cher being like, I've been around a lot of chicken nuggets. I haven't watched that episode yet, but just really cute. It was really funny.
You couldn't even like, could you imagine being Amelia? Like, you could not even manifest, like, I'm going to go to Paris to spend time with Cher.
And eat chicken.
And eat chicken together. Like, could you imagine her, like, 10 years ago, like, conceptualizing that? Like, you literally couldn't. That's wild.
No. Yeah. It was really cute. And I just love these little, like, lore around, like, her and Jack Harlow and her and Andrew Garfield. And she doesn't really, like, deny it. She just keeps kind of playing into it. And, like, they're not together.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's just a really fun concept and cute. And yeah, it's nice to see. But her and Keke Palmer, if you have to start anywhere, her and Keke Palmer's is really funny.
Okay, Keke Palmer, she gives me emotional support all the time. I love Keke Palmer. I think she's so funny.
I love her.
Oh, I saw something like that I thought was so cute. She was like saying how she like reframed things when she was first like auditioning for stuff or like when she didn't get picked, she reframed it instead of like, oh, dang it for me, where it was like, oh, that's too bad for them. Their movie's not going to be as good anymore because I'm not in it.
Confidence.
I'm like, oh my gosh, wait, that's so fun to think like you can literally reframe things in that way.
Yep.
I love her. She's amazing.
She's amazing. She seems super authentic, unfiltered, but she never said anything problematic that I've heard. Like I think she's just good to
hang out with her.
I know.
I think she'd be so fun.
Spoiler alert, but the first season of that Claim to Fame show with Kevin Jonas and Frankie Jonas, where the game show with the celebrity relatives.
Yeah.
Her sister wins.
Oh, do they?
Yeah.
Would you have been able to guess?
Once you find out, because
you're like, oh,
no one really was on to her, which is how she won. Like she was pretty good. And I was like, oh my God, I see it.
Is she her older or younger sister?
Older.
Oh,
yeah, and
so
she just
cute.
was like so obsessed with her and proud of her. It was really cute.
I mean, I think we all are obsessed and proud of Keke Palmer.
Yeah,
like, we're so proud of you, Keke.
Yeah,
you're doing great.
Truly, I hope she's listening.
Yeah, she's actually
Keke, our girl.
She's an avid listener of My Emotional Support Besties. She loves the pod.
You know it's your girl.
Yeah, you know it's your girl. She listens. Hey, Keke, it's good to hear from you.
Good to chat. Yeah. But if you need some emotional support this week, I recommend watching Chicken Shop Date because it's fun. They're only like 9 minutes, little clips. I feel like you get to know some of the celebrities a little better in a fun format. I don't know. I liked it.
I like that. Okay.
Yeah, it was cute.
Because I'm usually a Hot Ones girl. I do love my Hot Ones. Yeah. I love those interviews.
I think she did a Hot Ones.
Oh, yes. I believe
pretty sure.
I believe she did.
Yeah.
I love watching Hot Ones. I think it's so fun. I think Sean Evans does a really great job at asking like good questions that catch people off guard, and they're like, how did you know the name of like my high school improv troupe, like kind of thing. Those are good, but I feel bad for his intestines.
Oh yes. Does he's got to have like an ulcer, right?
Maybe he has
like a peptic ulcer.
What's the bag?
A colostomy bag.
He might have a colostomy. We're spreading
lies.
Fake news here, but I don't know how.
Keke Palmer's listening to our podcast, and Sean Evans has a colostomy bag.
Yeah. No, Keke Palmer, she's listening. I know it. She
manifest it.
Yeah. She loves it.
Yep.
I shared this last week, but another thing bringing me emotional support this week was, in fact, Princess Meghan Markle.
I was going to ask how that parasocial relationship was building.
Queen Meghan Markle. Oh, we are in the thick of our parasocial relationship. Her and I are besties. She's a wonderful, magnificent woman. I'm halfway through the last episode and I just like don't want to finish it because I don't want to run out of Meghan Markle, Meghan Sussex content, because I just really, I want to go stay the night at her house and I want her to make me food and I want to be best friends with her and I want her to teach me how to be a fancy lady because she's just such a beautiful, kind, warm, welcoming, thoughtful, intentional woman. And Meghan, if you're listening, which you know she's another avid listener, I'm sure, of
friend of the pod.
Yeah, she's a friend of the pod. Queen Meghan, you're doing great and we love you, and we also want to know,
let's do a clap,
when are more episodes going to come out, because I actually desperately need them.
Needs it.
I'm obsessed. I'm also waiting for when I can watch Pamela Anderson's new show, because I also love Pamela Anderson, and she also has a similar concept show where she's cooking with chefs, but that show looks amazing. I love Pamela Anderson. She also, our parasocial relationship is really strong. I have her cookbook. I'm really just looking to these women because one day I would love to have a beautiful land of property where I have a gorgeous garden and I get to be like, oh, Jonathan, I'm going to go into the garden.
Just develop an accent.
Yeah, of course. I'm going to go into the garden and I'm going to I'm going to forage for our dinner.
You could be like Barefoot Contessa and John's Jeffrey.
Okay, so like literally, I'm pretty sure that like 11-year-old Reed, who was forced into watching Food Network. Thank you very much to my sister. My sister, anytime she had the remote, we had to watch Food Network.
Oh, so did we. I always was watching Unwrapped.
Is that like an older sister thing? Like what was up with that?
I don't know.
But it permeated into my brain, and Barefoot Contessa, Ina Garten,
What a lady.
I think that because I grew up watching it so much, now I'm like, that's the dream. All I want is to have this beautiful, lush garden. I want to have people over. I want to host. I want to make things.
Wear linen culottes.
Yeah, I want to. And I want to be barefoot.
That's right.
And be like, Jonathan,
Mm-hmm.
bring your business partners over.
And like, oh wait, you don't eat meat. I was gonna say make an exquisite roast chicken, but
I'll make a vegan roast chicken.
there you go.
Hey.
There you go.
I don't know, but yeah, I think cooking shows, Meghan Markle, and soaking in the tub are all the things that brought me a lot of emotional support this week.
Easy vibes.
And of course, the pupperoos. Always the dogs. The dogs always give me emotional support because they're perfect.
Yeah, correct. We did try to have them down here with us, but they were not vibing.
It didn't work. Oh,
No.
I had to tell you something about that actually.
Uh-oh.
Real quick detour here, and before you tell me the last thing that gave you emotional support. So we're in Tori's apartment. For those who don't remember, it's in the basement of my house. So we had the dogs down here for a bit as we were getting everything set up. And then my dog Corduroy was whining and barking. I had to take him upstairs. So I put him upstairs. Then I go back up just a minute ago because I got a DoorDash sandwich. Shout out to Charlie's Deli. Thanks for not putting red onions in my sandwich because I really hate them.
True homies.
And when I went up there, the dogs did not greet me. And I was like, where are they? And it's very quiet. So I look around. I go upstairs. They're wrestling on our bed. And I'm like, what? What's No, I'm like, what's going down here?
Ew.
And it makes me think about something that John said to me.
What?
John said, Reed, how do we know that they're brother and sister and not husband and wife? Do you think the dogs are brother and sister babies, or do you think they are in a romantic relationship? Because they were really wrestling on the bed. Like I felt like I walked in on something.
Ew.
I don't know.
I feel like they're brother and sister.
I really want them to be. That's what I want. I want them to be two little babies that are brother and sister. But what John is always like, what if we're denying them the love they feel for each other?
I mean, either way, they love each other so much.
They do. They're perfect.
I have a picture that I didn't show you that Reed and John were both gone. I went up to get some of the equipment to set up for the podcast, and Corduroy was so excited and Ruby was whining upstairs. So I brought them down here with me to snuggle. And so they were vibing down here until I started setting up equipment. Then Ruby did get panicked. But Corduroy was like, they were just like laying on their side. Like Ruby was along my leg and then Corduroy was next to her and their heads were next to each other and she had her paw on it resting on his head.
Stop.
I know.
They're so perfect.
Ugh. Whatever their relationship definition is.
They're perfect.
We love it.
Whatever it is, we accept them as they are, who they are, and we love them beyond belief.
Yep. Because all they do is love us.
Oh, I love them.
You know?
Okay, what is your third and final thing that brought you emotional support this week?
Christopher Walken memes.
Oh my gosh, guys.
I can't wait to share these with everyone. It's going to be hard to describe it without showing you. So I'll just say tidbit, look out for that. These images to be shared. So funny. It's basically just a really awkward picture of Christopher Walken in really high-waisted pants.
Standing there like this.
He looks so awkward. And I have seen so many different memes. Like I think the internet's picked up on the fact, like my algorithm's picked up that I like it. And I kind of want to make one for us. So I'm going to think I should say. But
I just thought of it and I know it and it's going to be good. And it's going to go viral. I'm manifesting it now. Woo!
The original one we saw was
it's my favorite.
It was like picture me uncomfortably while you're showing your phone to everyone else and you don't show me and me having to go, let me see.
And it's just him standing there. And the funny thing is John and I saw it and we laughed so hard. And we were on our vacation last week. And people would be like showing each other like a picture on their phone or something. I would just look over at him and be like, hey, let me see. And we would just start dying.
And it's
laughing.
just for some reason, Christopher Walken is the perfect depiction of that feeling.
Yeah, where you're just like, hey, like, also, can we just talk about that feeling?
It's awful.
I hate that feeling. I'm always like,
I think it brings up a
Hey.
childhood wound in everyone.
Like, hey, can you show that to me? Like, why are you showing everybody but me?
And it feels like something you shouldn't have to ask for, because why aren't people considerate enough to just include everyone in it?
Yes.
So when you have to say something, you're like, why not
Yes.
me?
And that situation didn't happen on our trip. Like, we were going to see the picture
Yes.
that people were sharing around.
Yes.
I just was like
But
making
while
a
you're
joke.
waiting your turn to get
Yeah, while I
past
was-
the phone,
I made the
and
joke.
then you're like, let me
But
see.
when there's like actual situations where people,
Yes.
it's always like when you're like meeting new people, like a friend of a friend, like, and it's a weird situation,
Yep.
and you're like, oh, you guys have shared history, but like, what are you talking about? Can I see?
Yep.
Can I know the story?
Which, like, we probably do that to people.
I
so
really hope
apologize.
not. I hope not.
I mean, I feel like we're engaging people in it, but I'm sure that there is some of that feeling at first of like, what?
they're like, who are these people
Correct.
that you're talking about? But we'll tell you. We'll give you all the insight.
Yeah, I'll give you every little detail if you want it. So buckle up.
We like to make a short story long.
Yep.
Yeah.
The other one that I sent Reed, which has to do with her beige flag, which is that every time I have a drink, she wants a sip of it. But I sent her one that it was like me staring at my friend who doesn't like pickles with a pickle on their plate.
Oh, yeah.
And Reed was like, ooh, me with every time you get a drink. Like, he's just staring at you, you know, like waiting. I think that's what it is. I think it's the longing wait in his eyes that everyone can relate to.
Yeah.
It's so funny.
God, it's such. We're going to make some for us, and you guys are going to see, and you're going to just like think it's so funny. I know it.
Yeah, I needed
just
the
know it.
giggle. I needed the giggle this week, and it was it. Christopher, you came through.
Christopher.
We need more memes,
I love
not cowbell. We need more
him.
memes.
Oh, and he is from the cowbell sketch.
He has also, if you really are liking that, if you liking
Whoa.
that as if it's new, if you've always liked the cowbell sketch, apparently it's the most watched SNL skit of all time. And so when they did the 4-part documentary for the 50th SNL year, they did an entire episode just on that sketch.
Wow.
It's really good.
I don't know why this was, but when I was a kid, we had a DVD. We had 2 DVDs.
Just of that.
We had a DVD of the best of Chris Farley SNL. And then we had one that was just like the best of SNL or something like that. And it had the cowbell sketch on it.
Mm-hmm.
And I would just pop that DVD in and watch that sketch.
It's so
over
good.
and over. I don't know where these DVDs came from. I think we accidentally took them from somebody, you know, like
The
some
library.
maybe we accidentally. Oh no. Library fraud.
Statute of limitations. I think you're in the
I
clear.
hope so. But I don't know, like, and this is only popping into my head now. The Chris Farley thing popped in my head the other day too, because I just remember living in a van down by the river, like, and the lunch lady and
Yep.
the bears.
Yep.
The bears. And
They did a Studio 8 Architecture Digest tour,
really?
and it was really fun. Yeah.
oh, really? Well, I have beef with the Architecture Digest, so I don't think I'll
Me too.
be watching that.
We don't want your magazines
You
anymore.
know
That's
what
why
you
we didn't
did,
pay for
Architectural
it.
Digest. You know what you did.
Stop sending me envelopes to say invoice enclosed.
So that's what gave us emotional support. And now I'm just going to share a little bit of like why I needed emotional support this week, because some things did happen to me that caused me to really need some emotional support. First one is probably the biggest reason why I needed emotional support. And that's when I learned that I have bunions. I learned this against my will. I didn't want to know. I wanted to live ignorantly and not know or face the fact that I do in fact have bunions. But I found this out because I was laying in bed and I did something where I went, woo, like this. John looks over and then the light streaming in through our window from the moon caught my foot. John went, what is that? And I was like,
Reed, who is that?
Literally.
It's my bunion.
I was like, what are you talking about? He's like, on the side of your foot. And I was like, that's my foot. That's my bone. He's like, that does not look right. I was like, what are you talking about? This is how my foot has always looked. He said, that's not how your foot's always looked. And yeah, so I have a bunion.
I didn't note it. I didn't note it either.
Right foot is worse than left foot. It's really a problem. I've already gotten some bunion braces. I've started to do some exercises, but let me tell you something. Can't get it out of my mind that I just am suffering with a bunion and that those things are hiding in my shoes and just that they scare people.
I mean, frankly, we've been friends for almost 25 years. Never once noticed it until she said something on Friday.
Well, apparently it's because it's getting worse.
Oh, God.
Yeah, I don't know.
Have you taken pictures of them so we can track like before and after?
I should do that. But
track progress.
Now I really feel like I have absolutely no hope in making money off of these bad boys ever in my life.
But what I keep telling you is there's some freaks out there and they're probably looking for bunion feet.
Hey, if you want to see some bunion feet, hit me up.
Like there's probably people that are looking for bunions. They're looking for warts.
Ooh.
Looking for lost toenails.
Athlete's foot.
Yeah, I'm telling you.
Well,
Blisters.
I'm just... this has bruised my ego. It's damaged my self-identity. And it's really brought me down.
Do you have to put that on your profile with your agent?
Yeah, basically it's like has bunions.
Yeah.
And they're like...
Next.
No, but I'm gonna reverse it. I feel passionate about this.
I feel strongly that you can.
I believe in myself. I'm headstrong enough that I can reverse these bunions. And you know what?
I think so too.
Hold me accountable. I'm gonna change them.
I think you should do a daily reminder on your phone.
Oh, I could put in my habit tracker to do my
Exactly.
bunion exercises. And my note will be, your future self will thank you.
Just like with the turning the lights off in the laundry room.
It's closing the door too.
Yeah.
Well, you know what though? What really upsets me...
Be the Reed you want to be.
The Reed I want to be doesn't have bunions. What really upsets me about the bunions is just the reason I have them is because I have wide feet. Yes, I've said it. I'm owning it. I have wide feet.
I do too, but I don't have bunions.
I think mine are...
But I have plantar fasciitis.
I think mine are really wide. But here's the thing. Shoes weren't built for my feet. They were built for my feet if I lost my pinky toe. But I can't do that. I can't get rid of my pinky toe.
No.
So I shove my feet into these thin little shoes made for people with skinny, tiny, little dainty feet. Who are you? And it ruins me. And it's making me have issues.
Let's hire a cobbler.
Well, you know, I was thinking about that. I was like, oh, we get our pants tailored. Can I get my shoes tailored?
Probably.
Can I get my shoes cobbled?
Probably.
Can you cobble them up? Cobble. I don't know.
Yeah.
But
I think that you should find a cobbler.
I ordered some new shoes for the bunions.
Orthopedics. I need some orthopedics too, probably for my arches, so we could just get matching ones. Another merch drop.
Love it. We are merch dropping wide gusset underwear and orthopedic inserts to prevent plantar fasciitis.
Is this two grandmas on a podcast? Nope.
We could be.
We're preparing.
Well, the shoes I got are called Alta. What are they called?
Alta birds? Is that what those are?
They're like a running shoe.
Okay.
And they have a wide toe bed.
Oh, good.
A nice wide toe bed for people.
So do Hokas.
So I'm going to be able to spread my toes wide.
Spread them open.
Here's
the thing. It's good to wide gusset underwear, take care of your vaginal health at a young age.
Yeah.
And get shoes that are going to help you have feet that you can walk on for a long time.
Get the shoes for the feet.
What's something I still want to be able to use at 90? My vagina and my feet.
Yeah.
Just saying.
That's true.
So I think that it's called preventative health care.
Yeah.
It's important.
Yeah. I feel bad to these feet. I'm sorry for all the shoes I've shoved you in.
Man, remember Old Navy flip-flops?
Whoa. I remember the smell of them.
Correct. And remember like the wall? Like you'd walk in and school would get out. Your mom would take you to Old Navy. You'd walk in. And like the whole wall when you would walk in.
Rainbow.
Bam!
$1?
$3? They were $3.
2 for $5.
Oh my God. No, they don't do that. They have like a tiny little section of them.
What? That
I
was
went into
really
Old
working
Navy
for
a
them.
few months ago, and I was like, "Excuse me."
Does Old Navy still do stuff with flags on them? Because wasn't that the thing too? Like Old
I
Navy
think it
always had
is,
like the
yeah.
American flag and stuff.
Like every white family in July.
Yeah,
and then
they're
it's
just
like
like,
all
Old Navy.
matching Old Navy shirts.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then the flip flops. Wow.
And my Gucci flip flops. I wasn't
Oh,
cool enough
man.
to have Gucci flip flops, but also I used to wear flip flops year round in middle school.
You did.
Like I can picture myself standing at the
You had
bus
yellow
stop
ones.
in 7th grade in Old Navy flip flops, flare American Eagle
Mm-hmm.
jeans, an umbrella, a raincoat. Like the rest of my body was prepared for the rain. My feet didn't care. They were numb at that point.
Didn't you have yellow ones? I feel like I can
Probably. I
remember
had
like
like
some
8 pairs.
Yeah. I always thought my sister was cool because she had I almost actually bought some the other day. What are they called?
Tevas.
No.
Oh, I know what you're talking
The
about.
ones that have the shiny Javianas.
Oh my gosh.
I almost bought some the other day for our vacation, and then I was like, you know
I
what?
love that.
I always get blisters from
I
flip-flops.
picture your mom in those too. Did she have some? Has some?
She had some. Kenna had some. I know what I had. I had
What?
heeled lavender flip-flops from Old Navy. Now those were
I forgot about
sick.
the platforms.
But you know what? Those probably also,
Gave you the bunions.
aided and embedded. What is that? Aided and embedded?
Aided and embedded, yeah.
Yeah, aided and embedded my freaking bunion.
Should we sue?
This is a class action
they
lawsuit against
didn't-
Old Navy.
They didn't come forward enough with their
Their bunion causing
their poor
flip-flops. Art support.
pediatric. It's not pediatric.
Podiatrist.
Podiatric health.
I think that was all our fault.
Sorry.
Okay, well, I'm still on my complaining rant because I
Okay.
got a lot to complain about. And I'm sorry, y'all, because I know that negative energy spawns negative energy. Positive energy spawns positive energy.
But that's all we wanted to kick off with the positive.
But you know what? We're all besties here, and sometimes you got to let your bestie vent.
That's right.
Okay, well, next thing that happened to me, find out I got bunions. Okay, great. Next day, I'm moving some dishes around. A whole cutting board falls off of the counter and lands on my foot.
It's a rough week to be
this
Reed's
foot,
feet.
This foot has a giant bruise on the side. It hurts real bad.
Yeah, bruise on one side, bunion on the other.
Literally. And if my shoes aren't thin enough already, now it's hurting the side of my foot because it's all bruised. Okay, that happens. And I'm in a bad mood. And I then go upstairs and I'm like looking for something. What was I don't even remember what I'm looking for. I open our medicine cabinet and I go to reach for something. I don't know why this was in there, but a stud finder falls out and hits me in the mouth and like hits my lip. And I'm like, ow.
It's because it found a stud.
Oh, okay. That's great.
Yeah.
But our medicine cabinet is right next to John's office. John was on a call. So then I'm like, that really hurt. And as I'm like, ow, then I'm wearing a sweater and the cabinet is open and I go to like pull back. My sweater gets caught on a screw in the door and pulls and I just start crying. And I'm like,
That'll be
no.
enough to make you give up.
I was
Fetal position.
I
on the
was
ground.
not well. It wasn't good. Oh, and I got a popped out taste bud. So, you know what?
A rough week in your body.
I had a really rough week. I'm looking forward to maybe better days.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a good thing to look forward to.
And then John goes like the last night or the night before that, I said something where it's like, oh, my bunions hurt. Or like something. He goes, you know, you're really complaining quite a bit this week. I think you should recalibrate where your thoughts are. Think of something positive. I was like, oh, so now I'm complaining. Oh.
You're like, listen to this complaint. You're annoying the shit out of me, John.
But I know I will be a nicer girl probably next week, maybe. Who knows? I don't know. It's rainy. It's Portland. I might just be this way forever, but it's okay. I won't have bunions forever, and that's all that matters.
Exactly. Just focus on repairing the bunions, and I think you'll find some equilibrium.
I agree.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta get my, what is that, like my
root chakra. I don't know, like my groundedness.
Oh my God, that makes me think of something we did say we were going to talk about, witches. Before I go into my complaining.
We're talking about witches.
Oh, I would love that. I do love when things get witchy. A nail shaman that picks your polish color for you based on your aura.
Yeah, we were saying that there should be like when you go to a nail salon, someone should be there that can like read your aura and pick your color based on your aura.
Yeah, because how fun would that be? You're like in there and they're like, you're giving purple.
Oh.
And then I feel like it would probably align with something like deep in within you because they're feeling your aura, right? And then it would take away that stress of when you walk into a nail salon and they're like, pick your color out, and you're wandering around going, I really should have thought about this before.
And I'm always like, who am I?
Yes. And it's like, I'm dedicating myself to the personality that matches this color for the next week.
What made you need emotional support this week, ma'am?
Well, the first thing.
Oh, no.
Adult acne. Could you say why? Like, I know I'm privileged in this statement. I didn't really struggle with acne as a kid. It's not something I ever really dealt with. I know that's not most people's situations. So why on God's green earth do I have acne as a 30-year-old, really kind of for the first time, consistently?
Something's up with the hormones.
I know. Thank God I'm going to a naturopath to get that balanced. Anyways, nothing enrages me more. And why does it feel embarrassing?
It does. And it feels like everybody's just like staring at your zit.
Yes. And I got one like right on the bridge of my nose.
I don't know. Is it still there?
No.
Okay.
I got rid of it. And thank God for pimple patches.
They actually work.
That is something we didn't have as teens. So I am glad we have it now when I am having acne.
The fact that teens have that's so nice.
And I will unabashedly, like, I will wear the pimple patches, the clear ones, in public because I also have a sensory thing. Like, if I know the pimples are, I can't stop thinking about it, so I will touch it. But if I wear that pimple patch out, one, I feel like it's hiding gross. It's sucking stuff out of there.
Yeah.
So it feels like I'm taking care of it all day without thinking about it, and then I don't touch it.
Yeah.
So thank you to Mighty Patch because it got me through the week. But that is something that was bringing in an unnecessary amount of emotional distress throughout my week. But I also have been in luteal, so I know it has to do with hormones.
It's just so
annoying.
But
when I'm already feeling at my worst.
And then you throw a volcano on your face.
Don't make me look like Rudolph.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, oh, I'm going to wear face makeup, which already gives me sensory overload. So then it just adds to my anger.
Isn't that true?
And I had to be out of the house working a lot this week. So I couldn't run from my acne. And then my next thing is Patrick Schwarzenegger on White Lotus.
I want to punch him in the face.
Something about him, I think it embodies every horrible man I've met.
Yeah.
Into a character.
Yeah.
And ever since we caught up on episodes on Friday, he hasn't left my brain. I think about him once an hour and it makes me angry.
It's the like smile and the way he looks like. Yeah. He reminds me too much of every rude guy. And you know what? Let's be real. He's probably just a really like he's good at acting. Like yes,
I'm hopeful that that's the
truth.
He's
definitely like he's been around a lot of men, I'm sure, in his life and is able to channel it. He's probably one of those people where he's like one of the kindest people actually in real life.
Yep.
But he's like too good at his role.
Yes.
And so
I would agree.
While he's like we're just like believing it so much. I bet if you actually knew him in real life, he's probably like a really decent human.
I feel like because Taylor Swift dated him, there's got to be something redeeming about him.
Yeah,
that gives me hope that it is just a character. But that's why I specifically didn't just say Patrick Schwarzenegger because I cannot comment on that. But what I can comment on
his character.
And also,
and he's mean.
Something else makes me angry is knowing that people are trying to say like, look at him, he looks so much like his dad.
I don't see it.
Why? Just because he has muscles? I'm sorry. He looks more like Maria.
I don't
think
he looks like
the Kennedy side. He doesn't look like. No.
I would have never been able to place him.
No.
Of like,
him and his sister look a lot alike.
Is that the one with the brown hair?
With Chris Pratt?
Yeah. Do they? I don't know. I can't picture her, what she looks like. But let me just say, his character, good job. Who's the guy who writes the show? Mike White?
Mike Smith?
Maybe
it's Mike White. Mike White. Mike White. Mike White.
I think it's Mike White.
Honestly, maybe I just said Smith because I'm like, white. Yeah, he's very white.
Let's
What's
see.
What's the most generic name you can give someone? Mike White. So then I thought Mike Smith.
Yeah, Mike White. Okay, I was like, who's Mike Smith?
Honestly, giving the same vibe.
Well, and then I was like, oh wait, am I just calling him Mike White because it's called White Lotus?
Oh,
no, but
didn't think about that.
Good on you,
one.
Mike White. You wrote a very believable douchey character. I mean, you write a lot of believable douchey characters, but you've really outdone yourself. Truly. Okay, do you have anything else that you need emotional support from this week, or?
Well, just a brief mention that if you are driving a vehicle and you are not a student driver, take the sticker off. Make it a magnet and take it off. If the student's not driving. I think people have started just putting them on because they think for some reason you're going to get more respect on the road. I'm sorry to tell you, I'm probably not going to do that.
I've been seeing student drivers everywhere lately.
I don't think it's
real.
real.
Do you think there's a school near us? What if there's a school near us?
Well, there is.
No, a driving school.
Oh no, I've been seeing them like within a whole like hour around us.
Oh wow,
everywhere.
Everybody has them. You know what I've been seeing a lot lately? To the point where I was like, oh, I saw this yesterday. Oh, wait, no, that's slightly different. I've been seeing Teslas with bumper stickers that say, like, remorseful Tesla driver or bought this before I knew Elon was crazy.
People have also been getting, like, 3D printed new...
logos and stuff.
New logos and stuff, and they've been changing them to, like, Toyota or Ford.
It's
they've just been changing them so that they're not even acknowledging it.
It's so funny. I'm like...
And for that, I love.
I, like, see a Tesla, I'm like... And then I see the bumper sticker. I'm like, okay.
They're acknowledging it.
Fair enough.
They're acknowledging.
Well, I hope that, I could provide you some emotional support this week.
Oh, yeah, that's a given.
Yeah, it's a given that you provide me, too.
Yes.
I'm just texting you.
Yes.
She got a whole voice memo after the... I almost said the cardboard. The cutting board fell on my foot and the stud finder. I like sent her this voice memo. I was driving somewhere. I was just like, I need to know what it is that makes you so upset when things like this happen. Because I was like saying to her, I'm like, if I was in any other mood, you'd probably just like, oh gosh.
But it's enough to tip you over.
But it tipped me over.
And why do those things happen on those days?
Because like I said, negative energy attracts negative energy. It's true.
Inertia.
Just truly. I do believe really strongly, this is my woo-woo, I believe really strongly that the energy you put out is also the energy you receive.
Well, I think
and I was putting out some negative energy.
Yep, because I think we do have the power to change our mind in the moment. I really do believe that. Do I choose to do it? Because some days that's going to take 10 times more energy.
Yeah.
But I really do. I'm with you on that because I think also that just propels things to happen. Because also if you're in a negative headspace, I'm just not paying attention to what I'm doing as much, which also then contributes to things like this happening.
Totally.
Because I feel like when I'm in a good space, I am more in my body, in my brain. I'm thinking through things. I'm moving more gracefully.
And all this to say, if I was in a positive mood and these things happened,
still be annoying.
It would be annoying, but also I wouldn't have probably thought twice about them afterwards because I would have been able to brush it off.
You would have. You probably wouldn't have even remembered it happened.
Yeah. But there's something about when you are in a bad mood where you can't process things. So
nope.
I can't even go, I'm going to choose a positive outlook right now. There's no choosing that positive outlook because I'm in a negative mood.
Yep.
Sorry about it.
Yep.
But I know this too shall pass.
That's right. It actually was a good exercise for me to have to note things that were giving me emotional support this week because then I was like, good things did occur.
Good things are out there. They're great.
So practice gratefulness this week, besties. Try and find some things to focus on that will get you into a positive space. But if you're having a negative week, clearly we understand it.
We get you and we're here. And just know that you're not alone.
Yep.
You've got your emotional support besties right here. We can follow you anywhere you go if you just put your
Right.
headphones on, push play, and walk around. Hey, it's us. How's it going? Your besties are here.
Commiserate with us if you want. Laugh with us. On that note, I hope everybody has a great rest of their day, evening, morning, whenever you're listening to this. Oh, if you're in the car, if you're in the shower, if you're at the gym, have a great rest of your experience.
If you're serving jury duty,
Oh,
I don't know why I said
a
that.
new season's coming out of that show. It's just in a different setting.
I'm sorry, but how are they going to do that? Because now, let me just tell you, if I were to get jury duty,
No,
which,
it's not going to be jury duty. It's going to be some other
oh,
setting.
okay, cool.
Yeah.
Because I was just going to say, if I got
Oh,
jury
yeah.
duty,
I would know.
I'm going to go into every jury duty situation now
Expecting
being
that.
like, I'm on a TV show.
Yeah.
Any hoodle.
Go into everything with that energy. Maybe I'm on a prank show.
It's
Just go
called
with
the
it.
Truman Effect, like the Truman Show. Also, by the time you're listening to this, I think that me and Tori will have hit 500 listeners
Yes.
or
Yes.
listens.
Yes. We're 2 away right now.
We're
so.
2 away right now from our 500th download/listen. And we just wanted to say a big thank you to everybody who is listening.
Mm-hmm.
We absolutely enjoy getting your text messages, any sort of message where
Seriously.
you tell us that you are listening, where you listen, what you think about the show, thoughts, feedback, stories. We love it all.
Anecdotes that relate to something we talked about. Send us in our DMs reels that you're finding, funny memes, any content that's relating that made you think of our episode. We want to see it.
Yes.
Please.
And we love you guys. So
Yes.
just like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Please give this a 5-star on Spotify or podcast.
Share it with your friends. Put it on
Share
your
it
stories.
with your friends. Share it with as many people as possible. We are trying to reach as many people as possible and share some love and joy and friendship.
Yes.
And
We want to grow the besties community.
we want more besties. We love
Please.
you all. Well, have a great week.
Champagne problems. I would love it.
What were you just singing?
I don't know. It wasn't the right tune.